saved my life. And that's all it takes. Just being there for someone, listening. There's amazing people in this world. And with the aftermath of the whole Charlie Kirk thing now, with the big revival that's going in the world, we're starting to see more and more people that are on fire for God, that are coming back to God, that says, God, I need you. My wife and I was having a conversation this morning about the end of times. You know, they said for years, even when I was in high school, they were like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. It's the end of times now. And there's always been something that's happened that makes us go, oh, you know what, they're right. But, you know, you look back at, I'm 47 years old. I look back at all those things in the past, and not a single one of them stretches out to my mind that goes, oh, that's why we did that. Even the Y2K thing, that was a close thing we thought, but it was just our own misunderstandings. But now, with this aftermath of Charlie Kirk's passing and the things he did and the love he had for God that other people saw, there's a revival going on. People are coming back to God. And then what's one of the signs that says there will be a huge revival in the nation? That's one of the signs. My wife says, well, they say that all the time. But I said, honey, look, do you know why people say that? Look at the way the world is. When you start looking at Sodom and Gomorrah and why God destroyed that, when you start looking at the flood with Noah and the ark and why God destroyed the world, if you don't think that the world is a million times worse off now than it ever was back then, you talk about love and patience God's having for us. So I told her, I said, look at the way the world is now. There's so many people out there that because they want what they want instead of what God wants. I mean, when you start to the point where you are affecting the lives of these little children that we do every day, and you're making them so confused. I mean, look at the stats, guys. And I might get knocked off here for saying this, but look at the stats. Abortion, bam, way up. We've stopped caring about life. Let's look at suicide, bam, way up. Because there's so many people depressed because not so many people care anymore. We have lost so many lives because of pride, because of convenience in life. Let's take cars. Cars themselves. We wanted, you know what, I ain't getting there fast enough, and I want to see more of the world. So let's create something to get there faster. And it got faster. Why do we have cars? What, their speed limit is 70 miles an hour. Why do we have cars that's 200 miles an hour? To me, when I see that, I think of that verse that says, do not put a stumbling block in front of your brethren to cause them to sin. That's a stumbling block right there. Because we want to go faster. Some of us do. We want to do more. We want what we want. Even more so here the last couple of months, I'm really noticing so many different things that are starting to fade away and fall off because I'm giving myself to God more. I got 18 different spirals that I've been writing in about different things that I'm curious about, want to know. And I figured I'm going to write them down because, one, that'll help me to retain the information. Two, maybe someone else has the same questions, the same concerns. Maybe I can help someone the way God has helped me. I mean, that's a dream, right? You know, I got on this app and it healed me. Going back to what I was saying there, God stopped me in my tracks. Not that I was living a bad life, I was trying to help, but I wasn't giving it all to God. I was trying to do it how I wanted to do it. And anybody that's ever walked the path knows sometimes God throws a ringer at you, just like our parents do. When you do something wrong, parents are like, all right, well, this is what's going to happen. Your phone's getting taken away or whatever. Well, God does that to us. And God tried to tell me so many different ways, hey, I need you to come back to me. And I wasn't listening. So what happens as parents, because God is our Father, what happens as parents when our kids aren't listening to us? What do we end up doing? Because we'll sit there and go, hey, I need you to stop that. Please stop that. Hey, stop that. And we'll say it several times to a point where we're like, hey, I said stop. And they get frustrated, they get scared. Well, that happens to us. And that's what happened to me on September 10th of 2020. God yelled at me on my way home from work. Pitch black outside. Couldn't see anything in front of me. Car coming the other way with a bright sign, blinding me. By the time the lights disappeared, it was too late. I was too close. I didn't see the young man standing there, laying in the road. Apparently earlier that night, this young man, at the age of 18 years old, life had become so hard for him because of drugs, because of different things in his life, that he decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I can't take it no more. Nothing's helping. And he dressed all in black, and he went to this part of the road that he knew nobody would be able to see him on. And he laid in the road. And God used that moment to yell at me because I ran the young man over. And I stopped my car. Like I said, it wasn't my fault. I couldn't see him. It doesn't have to be your fault for God to yell at you. God's just trying to set you on a path. And we don't see it at times and things. God does things to us, but later on in life we see it. And I saw it. I see it now later on. Back then, God was yelling at me, and he stopped me in my tracks. I went home that night and stayed in bed for 3 days, and I sat in my car for 6 months, ended up in the hospital, became agoraphobe for 3 years, afraid to leave my house, afraid to walk out of because of all the fear and this the shame I had in me over this one incident in life. And I know there's so many people that would have the same thing. This devastating, horrific thing happened to you in your life. It's going to change you. And it did me. God, you had to use it. I used to think, oh, God used me that night because maybe somebody else, they would have gone to drugs afterwards, or this afterwards, or that afterwards. That's not why God used me that night. God had to stop me in my tracks. And I became agoraphobe. I was scared to be around anybody. I barely could even talk to my wife. And every family member I had, my mom, my brother, and my sisters, my best friend of over 25 years, got tired of me. I was too much. And it gets that way because we think so much and I go, oh my God, they're calling again. You answer the phone or something, or just to pretend, we're doing something, whatever, because it comes too much. We get too much for some people. And so they back off from us. And then all that does is make us more alone, more scared, give us more things to worry about ourselves, push us over that edge a little bit. And believe me, I had those times, I had those moments. I'm like, God, why? Why me? Why did you have to put me in that situation? Haven't I been good? Haven't I done the things you've asked me to do? I've helped this person out, that person out, that person out. I've been going to church. I've been doing, why? Why me? God said, why not you? Why not you? And I argued with God. I deserve more, Lord. I deserve better than this. And it's that pride sleeping up again, going, no, I want this. This is what I want. I want to not have this feel. I want to not run over that kid. I want not to be an agoraphobe. I just want to keep doing the things I was doing.